Hello. I'm going to do something that I haven't done before. I'm going to try to do a 2024 year in review to go over the stuff I've done this year and maybe some things that I've learned and some things that I've liked and some things that are my favorites. So let's get started. First of all, a little anecdote. My daughter came to visit one day and she looks at this on my wall and she goes, "Mom, why do you have braids on your wall?" This is just an interesting thing I was trying out this year. I'm not sure if I really like it, but it's a way to store some of my embroidery threads, mostly the thicker stuff like the floche and the pearl cotton. I don't know. I thought that was an interesting way to store those. Here's something I painted recently. I was going to paint a picture for someone, and I needed a muted background, a sort of abstract background, to paint some flowers on, and this was the result of trying to make that background. This turned out a lot brighter than I thought it was going to. It turned out much more interesting than I thought. So I'm going to do something different than using this for the picture I was planning. It's going to sit around for a while because I think it really lends itself to a floral composition, and I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do with it. There are these chrysanthemum-like things going on, and that looks to me like a rose. This happened completely accidentally. I just painted blobs of watercolor into a wet surface and then sprinkled on some salt and let it dry. It turned out gorgeous. Okay, this is something I learned this year, how to draw clothing with a little bit of movement to it. Not the greatest painting in the world, but I did learn something important about how to draw a skirt to show some movement. Hopefully next year and in the coming years, I'll be able to apply this lesson to other things I've learned. This is one of my favorite paintings I've done this year. A page out of the YKK manga, which is also known as Quiet Country Cafe. And I'm not going to try and pronounce the name of the Japanese manga because I will totally butcher it. But we will see that actual manga here in a little bit. But I got a picture from one of the pages. It's black and white in the manga, but I kind of traced and drew a picture and painted it. And I think it turned out really well. It's an interesting point of view. When I took the picture with my phone, when I imported it into GIMP, GIMP wanted to rotate it because it's sort of an odd perspective. I think it's great. Here's something I painted this year based on a video I had been watching about the lady named Cecilia who lives in the very northernmost town in the world. And in one of her videos, I think it's when they were on their boat and they were kind of trapped somewhere because of a storm, I took a screenshot of the video when they were showing where the boat was, and I thought the view was gorgeous, so I tried to paint it. It doesn't do justice to the actual picture, but I think it turned out pretty good, don't you? Here is something that shows some of my favorites. First of all, the idea to put my swatch card of watercolor paints into little potion bottles is not my own idea. If I remember, I will try to put a link to the video where a lady does this for her paints in the description. I didn't copy her potion bottles exactly. I just got an idea about how to do it from her. This is my absolute favorite palette right now. I paint most frequently from these colors. Most of them are Daniel Smith. There's a Core and an M. Graham and Sennelier in there, but these are my favorite colors. I also work from this palette quite frequently. These are all my super granulating colors. Most of them are Daniel Smith, but quite a few of them are Schmincke. On the top row, there are the Schmincke Tundra granulating watercolors, and the one on the second row all the way to the left is the Volcano Red from Schmincke, and all the rest are Daniel Smith. Here's my current favorite way to set up when I'm painting, and my cute little DIY paintbrush paint rests, just something I made. This is the way I normally try to dry my paintbrushes. I guess you could say I magnetic clipatized the brushes to the whiteboard. Works like a charm. This is something I started this year. I call it Interesting Pages. Every month I do a page about something I'm interested in. Obviously, December was a no-brainer. I obviously did a page about Advent and Christmas. Also, this year, I'm doing the watercolor Advent calendar from De Winton Paper Co. Again, if I remember, I'll try to put a link to her channel in the description. Some of the pictures are better than others, but I'm having fun with it, and I'm learning. Here we go. Here's some of my favorite books for this past year. There's that manga I was talking about earlier. I'm going to try and pronounce it. Yokohama Kadeshi Kiku. That's where I got the idea for that Quiet Country Cafe picture I was talking about before. I've got my Tolkien, got my Dune, and Robert Heinlein. Heinlein. I like him, but bless his heart, as they say in the South. Oh, there's the YKK again, as they call it. It's a nice manga. I mean, if you're not into anime or manga, I don't know what to say. I'm not normally into those things either, but this one's an exception. It's a nice slice of life, calm and serene type of end-of-the-world stuff. And here's my replacement for a Christmas tree this year. I'm just decorating up my hutch. I love this hutch. I got it as a present from my love this past year. It's hard to see the dishes that are in it because I've just started putting all kinds of decorations in there. Christmas stuff I've painted, Christmas cards, little nativity scenes. They're not lit in this picture, but I've got some little, I guess you call them fairy lights, that I can change, RGB controlled things. And I can make different patterns and different colors with them. So on Christmas Day, I'll probably set it on a festive lights pattern. Here's a statue I've acquired this year. I've been wanting some kind of statue like this for inside the house, and it's a really, really nice statue. Our Lady Undoer of Knots. I love it. Here is my boyfriend, as my beloved says. There's a story behind that, but supposedly St. Michael is my boyfriend. Not really, but sometime maybe I'll tell the story about how that little inside joke got started. Here's one of my favorite things from this year, a teapot. I got it because I have a red teapot of exactly the same brand. When I got it from someone, it was sort of a halfway gift, halfway purchase. That's another inside story that maybe I'll tell sometime. But I was hoping that I had bought the right size so I could use this teapot lid for that teapot, but this is a much larger teapot. I love this new teapot, and it is sort of representative of a bunch of different things I got this year, teacups and plates and saucers that I got from Etsy. I got to complete my mother's china set, which was a really great gift to me this year. And here's our Lady statue outside. There's a cute little story to go along with it. You can kind of see to the left of the statue, that bush that's flowering. And it just being December, that bush was not supposed to be flowering. And in fact, our yard guy even said when he came the last time for the fall, in either the end of October or the beginning of November, he said it shouldn't be flowering now. He's like, no, those really only flower in spring. And it hadn't flowered in a while anyway. And when we placed Our Lady statue there, after about a week, it started flowering again. So there you go. That's another statue we've been wanting for a while, an outdoor statue, and there she is. Well, that is the end of my little presentation. There are so many more things I was going to add, things about the Bob Ross embroidery kit, but I kind of got burnt out on that. So I didn't really feel like doing any more on the Bob Ross stuff, even though I said I was going to. So we're just going to move on from that. Hopefully next year will be bigger and better with more learning, more favorite things, more favorite books, more paintings, I don't know, new things. And like I said, in that one little short video I made, always make time every day to find the beauty right in your own backyard. The nice things, the beautiful things. They're there. You can find them if you look. I hope you have a happy and healthy 2025. Merry Christmas.